drains the three. That's his first basket. And again, Utah stunned the Huskies on this floor last year. Washington getting out to the kind of lead here early that Utah has to stop.
They've got to get to the free throw line or knock down a bucket because, again, Washington is a team that plays off of energy. And you're talking about energy. Here's one of the, if not the best pure shooter in the conference, one of the best pure shooters in the country. And the reason he's so high on the NBA list, he has tremendous size and incredible range on his jump shot, and he's athletic enough also to dunk on you, take you to the basket.
Came back to play his last year at Washington. Foul was on Blackwell, first against the Huskies.
Again, you see great containment defense. See the way they sit in the driving lanes early. They do not have to help and then get back to their man. They're sitting there so they can give great help and then outstanding shot pressure as well.
Jordan Loveridge has taken two of those left wing threes and misfired on pretty badly on both. Now the turnover, and Loveridge will get to the foul line. Williams-Goss claiming he got ball. But it will give Utah a chance to finally score at the line.
Now, you got to understand, this is Utah that I've seen in the preseason. I've done several of their games. Any kind of turnover, their defense feeds. It's like offense feeds off their defense, and they go score. They go attack you. They make you foul them, or they're good enough that they can go score the ball.
All right, so Shawn Kemp in for the first time off the Huskies bench as Loveridge gets the first Utah points.
They will settle down. You've got some good players on the floor. Brandon Taylor is too good of a player not to settle his team down. Jordan Loveridge, outstanding player as well. And DeLon Wright, he's a talented player too. So I would think they would settle into the rhythm of the game here. Bucket.
Boy, nice screen set there. And fighting through that screen, Wilcox had a clear shot. Brandon Taylor trying to fight through that screen, fouls.
When you talk about a guy that's always moving, C.J. Wilcox, you know, your great players have an ability to move without the basketball. He's always looking to hunt his shot. He's looking to get shots off in the game.
Brandon Taylor, he got so defeated on that screen, he
got pancaked on the screen is what happened.
Grabbed the waist.
Like one of those big offensive linemen when they pancake those DBs.
So Taylor, Wilcox. Oh, nice flick. That's the arms, the length of DeLon Wright. And he just can't finish. Well, that's one of the characteristics I was told today. Utah shoot-around about DeLon Wright. Sometimes he looks a little casual on defense, but he's got an ability to flick that arm out and deflect a pass just like that.
He's an outstanding player. Not many young players have the ability to see the game a play ahead of time on offense. He not only sees it a play ahead of time on offense, he sees the game a play ahead of time on defense, which allows him to get so many steals. But Utah started this game 0 for 10 with 2 turnovers, and now they've got 3 made free throws.
All right, so Baczynski knocks down both. And this is what we meant. So Utah, despite not having made a basket yet, has stayed in the game here. They didn't let, at least to this point, hadn't let Washington just blow them out early. And there's a turnover. So back comes DeLon Wright. This should be and is the first Utah field goal.
Now let's talk about what's happening to Washington, because they had a chance to get a run early in this game when Utah struggled coming out of the gates. Don't let this Utah team start to feel its oats and get its rhythm, because they are really good at scoring the ball, particularly in transition.
And so some turnovers now by Washington, giving Utah a chance to climb right back in. That start was the kind of start that could have been a 12, 15-point hole for Utah in the first half, and that's obviously very hard on the road. Parker Van Dyke, freshman, comes in off the Utah bench.
Lorenzo Romar is arguing that ball went off of a Utah player, but they give the ball back to Utah.
Of course, the Huskies not only won at Tempe Thursday, they played a tough game in Tucson Saturday.
they are a much improved basketball team, particularly on the defensive end of the floor. But they've got to understand this team that they're playing right now has a lot of weapons. And if they get their confidence, I'm talking about Utah, they can score, and they can score in bunches.
Reset here for Utah, new shot clock. DeLon Wright got a lane, and then on the reach-in, Andrews will be called for the foul. So that gets us to the under 12 timeout in the first half. A better standing, not as much fun for Washington.
The O Heroes program is a student-athlete philanthropy focusing on community involvement and developing leaders.
And the great thing about it is it's the things that our student-athletes want to do. It's not administrators or directors telling them the things that they should be doing, so it's really kind of unique, and I love that part about Oregon.
O Heroes is the local program for student-athletes, and this year we had the opportunity to go international.
After 24 hours of travel, 28 of us finally made it to Peru.
We spent the whole morning leveling what's been here.
We were able to build a concrete sports court in less than 3 days.
You wouldn't think a basketball court could change a whole community, but it'll be a meeting place. It's kind of like the heart of the community now. The power of sports it's amazing.
Champions on the field.
Heroes in the community.
Welcome to Matthew Knight Arena, Eugene, Oregon, deep in the woods. Home of the Ducks. Oh, Oregon Ducks. First NCAA champion, current Pac-12 champion. Coach Altman's 4th year took us to the NIT, the NCAA tournament. This year we're going to go to Pac-12 tournament, Vegas, and then Dallas. We've got the speedy Jonathan Lloyd, the great shooting Damian Dotson, team leader, point guard Dominic Artis, got the great transfer, Mike Moser, Joe Young, mighty Joe Young. Pit crew, we are Oregon. Is there another Oregon school? Huh? Oh!
In order to make a champion, you need to have extremely tough-minded person.
You got to understand the work, the time, the effort, the sweat.
You try to have a culture within your program. Be really relentless in the pursuit to doing things right every day.
Spend the extra time necessary before practice, after practice, and really live and breathe basketball.
Putting your personal agendas aside for the good of the team, you can win championships.
When these two teams met in this building last year, it was a coming out party for Brandon Taylor because he played extremely well in this game. Utah got out early, and then it was the Brandon Taylor show. He started making buckets all over the place, found his range, found his game, ended up with 19.6 assists in this game. When he wasn't scoring, it was Jordan Loveridge everywhere all over the floor. Utah came to play, beats Washington on this floor 74-65, but it's a little bit different right now. Brandon Taylor, it's his birthday. Let's hope he can get going. But all of a sudden, it just dawned on me, Washington did not put his foot on this team's throat to start the game. And they had a chance to do it, but with 7 turnovers and only 1 assist, they should be up about 15 right now, and that roar should be on top of Utah.
Taylor's sitting right now. DeLon Wright shooting. But that's, Ernie, that's it. I mean, Washington had a chance first 5 minutes of this game. If they had come out with a little bit of that hunter's instinct, they could have had a double-digit lead. But the turnover-to-minute ratio, when you have 7 turnovers in 8 minutes, that's what a coach looks like. Very frustrating.
No question. And they should have put their foot on Utah. Now they're in there for a battle because you've allowed Utah to get back in the game early here, kind of regain their composure, get their rhythm.
And you saw that win the Utes had here last January is still in 2 seasons the only road win in the conference. Ooh, Kemp Kemp looked like he was going to secure that rebound. But Utah comes out, right. Good setup to Van Dyke. And that's going to go out off Wilcox, come back into Utah. Utah getting a decent number of these, Ernie, second chances on offense.
Well, I don't mind the miss because now, again, they look like Utah that I saw in the preseason. A defensive stop, push the ball up and down the floor, drive the lane, force the defense to collapse, get a wide open jump shot, and now they get a second possession. They've got to be the exact same team, play the same way you've played because they were an excellent team in the non-conference.
And I asked, you saw them in the non-conference. I haven't yet. So I asked Larry Krystkowiak when we saw him today, tempo, and he goes, yeah, I've been a little bit faster. Triangle, there was some talk he might put some triangle in. He said a little bit early in the non-conference, more in the preseason workouts as opposed to games.
Well, let me tell you what he did. He discovered a new player in DeLon Wright. I think they thought they had a pretty good basketball player. They didn't realize how good this young man was. But he's been having the ability to get up and down, and he shares the ball so well. He can score in transition. He's starting to shoot it better. He's given them a dimension to their game that I don't think they thought they were going to have this year. So, therefore, they can spread the floor. They put the ball in his hands quite a bit.
And that was a role last year. Jared Dubois, who played just 1 year for the Utes, but Dubois was that kind of experienced anchor in the backcourt last year. Brandon Taylor back in the game now for Utah. Paczynski was the player on whom the previous foul was called. And Blackwell batted that one, but it goes into the hands of Wright.
Utah forces a lot of things defensively to the baseline with Paczynski down inside. You got that big-bodied player in there as Washington settles into a 2-3 zone. And even in the zone, they'll pay attention to detail with shooters, and they'll clog driving lanes. So they will not let you get into that lane. Do a pretty good job, except for there. Brandon Taylor blows by.
That's your announcer, Jinx. That was exactly, you're right, but that's what Lorenzo Romar, when you asked him today, that's precisely what he told you. They got sick and tired of giving up layups.
No question. And when a team can drive from the top of the key against your zone, that's not good.
Now, Washington hasn't scored here in almost 5 minutes, and that's why Utah has come back from their rough start to have their first lead.
When you can put the ball on the floor against somebody's zone, that should be help defense right there. To allow Brandon Taylor to go right down the heart of your defense, that's not going to make a coach very happy. I'm going to tell you that right now. How about Paris Blackwell? I didn't know if he would be agile enough to go down and play against Arizona's front line. All those rim protectors down there, Krzyzewski down there, Gordon, Ashley, and all of a sudden he goes down and he just schools that front line with some old school basketball. Did a great job against Arizona using the shot fake. Great moves. I love the fact, too, that he's another. You talk to this young man, great personality.
Yeah.
And obviously he loves to play the game.
And he's a fierce offensive rebounder. Larry Krystkowiak was making sure that point got across to his team today.
Best rebounder in the conference.
All right, Blackwell secures a defensive board there. Paczynski of Utah is sitting right now. Larry Krystkowiak had to take him out after a second foul. Jeremy Olson is back. And Blackwell doesn't get it down, but he will go back to the line. So now it has been Washington that's on a long drought without a basket.
They're a long drought without a basket, but one way to get it done is to go inside and force the contact, as Blackwell did here, gets himself back to the free throw line again.
Blackwell shooting. Huskies are now 5 minutes and 15 seconds since their last made field goal.
How about having the luxury of moving your 6'5" two-guard to the point guard spot? DeLon Wright allows Brandon Taylor to get a little bit of a rest and not have to handle the basketball all the time. Great floor spacing by Utah.
And they set up. Taylor had a good look there. On the rebound, there's Wright again with those quick hands.
He thinks the game at a different level. He sees the play ahead, and that's why he's able to see the rebound being had, but he just comes underneath and takes it away again.
Ooh, and then Loveridge sails the pass too high. And Utah turns it. But we've seen now DeLon Wright flash those arms and create a couple of steals.
Now remember, in the preseason, all these teams were running up and down the floor scoring 80-plus, 90 points a game. And we talked about when you get the conference play, conference will bog you down. It's 8 minutes, 30 seconds to go in this game, and the score is 10-9. It tells you, again, when teams scout you, they can sit on your offense, take your strengths away, and make you play to your weakness. And that's why you won't see all the high scores, even not in this conference, even across the country.
Williams-Goss, boy, They pushed him left, and Williams-Goss went left and scored. Princeton Onwas is in the game for Utah for the first time, and he was just taking the right hand away.
I like the way Washington, they do a good job of showing their hands on defense. With the emphasis on the new rules, you cannot put a hand on that body. You can't no longer hand check. You can't put an elbow in the back in the post.
A nice action down low, and Andrews shook himself free for his second layup.
He was able to score that because he took the ball from his right hand to his left hand while he was in the air and finished away from the defender with his left hand.
Olsen put that down off his own. Now Olsen saying it went off the Washington player's shoe.
No. That went off his shoe. That's when you start singing, "Feet don't fail me now." But,
that's a Dick Cardell.
Andrew Andrews says, "I've got a left-hand game for you. Huskies in a dogfight here in Seattle."
I'm Sarah, and I'm a pre-nursing major here at WSU. I'm able to be a part of a sorority,
Alpha Omicron Pi,
and I am also a member of the Washington State University cheerleading squad. My cheerleading squad just really tries to make sure that we display nothing but Cougar pride and display the love that we have for not only our sport but for the school. Everybody here is just a die-hard Coug fan, and the amount of Cougar spirit that we have and the amount of alumni support and the amount of students that come to our games is so overwhelming, and it's so much fun to be a part of. Running out on the field before a game is so loud and overwhelming and energetic. It's both nerve-wracking and exciting at the same time. I love that I get to hang out with Butch T. Cougar. It's a pretty cool aspect of being a cheerleader is you get to hang out with Butch and take lots of pictures with him.
Sarah Lurie, class of 2015, Washington State University. Go Cougs!
This is Pac-12 Sports Report.
Let's talk some UCLA women's basketball. We'll take you from the pitch to the pool and everywhere in between.
A lot to get to over the next 30 minutes.
Pac-12 Sports Report, Monday at 6:30 on Pac-12 Networks.
Mike Gann will be along at halftime in our studios with the State Farm Halftime Report and the highlights of a terrific game and much needed for Washington State. They had a very difficult trip to Arizona, but in Spokane tonight they take Colorado to overtime. You'll see those highlights as well as everything else going on around the Pac-12. And Josh Scott with a big night in Spokane.
Well, we talked about if this young man can average a double-double for the season. He comes up with 19 points, 9 rebounds. They needed him to come up big in this game up in Spokane. Colorado wins 71-70 in overtime. How about that for a game? Q Johnson hits a big three in that game since the overtime. I like the fact that Washington State is playing without Devontae Lacey. Other players are starting to step up. That's going to be good for them.
That was just without seeing the game, you see the score, and we were kind of following it here. You feel good for Ken Bone and the Cougars because they just had a very tough weekend, and then Lacey comes back to play. Now he's out again. And there is the first offensive rebound of the game for Washington, but Blackwell's outlet is out.
Utah came out of the timeout in a 2-3 zone and had Washington kind of standing around, and that should have been a foul over the back. And one of the things that coaches have talked about, they want to see the consistency that took place in the non-conference with the hand checking. I thought the officials were outstanding, setting the tone in the non-conference. They want to see it continue into conference play, because if the officiating stays consistent, coaches will adapt and adjust, players will adapt and adjust as well.
The one thing Utah, Larry Kristoviak, of course, played under Mike Montgomery, share the same philosophy. You rebound, and Utah leads the conference in defensive rebound percentage. That's why it was notable. That was Washington's first offensive rebound of the night, but this is the second shot clock violation of the first half.
Well, let me tell you why. Washington was in that 2-3 zone, but they did a good job of guarding the gap. What I mean by that is when one offensive player has the ball and has been defended, the other defender sits in the gap, and they take away the drive lane, and they make you almost, I call it play umbrella offense. You just stay outside the three-point line. You never have an opportunity to get inside.
Another number Utah excelled at in the non-conference was defending the three-point shot. Washington has made one in this half. Wilcox.
See, again, they go double-team Wilcox. Brandon Taylor is taking him out. He's completely face-guarding him. He doesn't care about help defense. He's just not going to let Wilcox beat them.
But Williams, Goss, and Andrews beat them. Very nice finish by Andrews.
You notice Brandon Taylor up top sitting on Wilcox, but they forget about Andrews underneath. Nice play, nice move, nice finish here with the reverse layup.
So, sixth team foul against Utah in the half, and Andrews is the top scorer right now, 7 points. Washington's lead is 6. Dakari Tucker to the sideline for the Utes. Princeton Onwus did not play at all in either Utah game last weekend, but he's getting some first half minutes tonight.
Back in the man-to-man defense, and again, they do a good job of taking away your drive game, and they do a good job of shot pressuring as well, too. That's this new improved Washington defense. You don't get a lot of drives, and you don't get a lot of uncontested shots. Now, if you look at their defense, they look like the triangle and two. They're taking out Wilcox and Andrews. They kind of face guard and let everybody else play.
Yeah, Onwus right now is the guy he's drawing the assignment. He's just staying right in Wilcox's jersey.
Well, not only that, but you got Brandon Taylor staying in Andrews' jersey as well, too. So both of them are doing a good job of face guarding their offensive player. And what they do is they take Washington out of their offensive rhythm, because those two players cannot touch the ball, and they allow other people on the floor to beat you.
Oh, they got a good entry there to Blackwell, and on the second try, he's fouled. We watched Utah today really work Ernie and defending, not letting the inbounds go to Wilcox. Instead, they go inside.
Well, when you have a defense that's going to take out your best player or your best two players, a box and one they call it, or a triangle and two, the other players are sitting there in a box defense or a triangle defense, they're forcing other players to step their game up. And in this case, Blackwell is making a living at the free throw line. They're forcing other players to beat them, but they're not going to let C.J. Wilcox beat them, or they can take Andrews out and say, we're not going to let you get any touches as well, too.
All right, well, this Washington team that has been so strong at the foul line, Blackwell, you see, has missed 3 already. And so a 9-2 Washington run. Kemp back, Huskies up 7.
Desmond Simmons is on the floor. You talk about a player that has been valuable to this team and has helped them get their game back. When you get a veteran player back like Simmons that was out for a long time with an injury, he missed a good part of the season, and you talk about a team going through adversity. Washington has faced their adversity, and now they've come out of it a pretty solid basketball team that's starting to play a lot better.
Henna Lenz is on for Utah, his first appearance. Loveridge. That was all Jordan Loveridge for his first basket.
If you think about it, Brandon Taylor had the layup down the middle. DeLon Wright had a couple layups in transition. Outside of that, they've only limited Utah to jump shots because, again, defensively, they do a good job of keeping Utah out of the lane.
All right, Kemp had a good look. Nice move off the block, but Lenz with a rebound. Ooh, and DeLon Wright, nice little pull up there after the bump with Kemp. So we're under 4 minutes. It's clearly low scoring, but the road team, Utah, has shot poorly, and they're in the game.
Well, if I'm Utah, I'm feeling really good because you're only down 3, and offensively you've not played well. That might be an intentional foul. That is an intentional foul because there's no way you can clothesline a guy after he's by you. That just doesn't happen at this level, or at any level for that matter. And you see the reach out, the grab.
Lenz forced this call. The officials have no chance.
Well, no chance, but you talk about Jordan Loveridge and his jump shot, but DeLon Wright, the whole package on this young man.
What is focus? It's a wondrous sensation of clarity and alertness. It's owning your opponent. It's knowing beyond a doubt you got this. It's keeping your head down, your eye on the ball, and knocking it out of the park. It's getting in the zone. It's keeping on your toes, on target, on top. Focus is staring the world in the face and saying, bring it. Focus is power. Focus is life. And 5-Hour Energy is focus.
Saturday, conference rivals square off in a heated women's hoop showdown. At 5, Jamie Weisner and Oregon State look to snap a 3-game skid when the Beavers roll into Eugene to face Oregon. Live coverage starts Saturday at 5 on Pac-12 Networks.
Hi, I'm Herb Sendek, head basketball coach at Arizona State. You're watching Pac-12 Networks. Go Devils!
I'm Kaylee Gray. Welcome to University of Washington. I am a member of the Kappa Kappa Gamma sorority. I'm also on the UW dance team. As a member of the dance team, we are Spirit ambassadors, and to be able to dance and to also represent my school is really awesome. Husky pride is huge. You see someone in purple and you just shout out "Go Dogs," and probably 80% of the things I own are purple. I wouldn't be surprised if I was sleeping with my Dubs in hand or something. Game day is my favorite day. Us and the dog pack feed off each other's energy. When we or the dog pack starts "Go Huskies," go! Pretty soon the whole stadium is going. Whenever we do that, it's one of my favorite things. UW is forever going to be a part of my life. I'm Kaylee Gray, class of 2015 at the University of Washington. Go Dogs!
So 3-point Washington lead late first half here in Seattle, and a foul here, Ernie, by Hannah Lenz. It's going to give Washington 2 shots and the ball.
Well, he was clearly beat, and I know what he tried to do, but he left the official with nothing else but the call. When you reach and grab and tie someone up, he's trying to stop him from scoring, but the fact that he tracked him down from behind is one of the reasons they had to call the intentional foul. Yeah. Larry Castoria complained long and hard, but obviously I haven't seen too many officials calls that have been reversed when there's a foul being called on the floor because a player or a coach complained long and hard. In fact, I've never seen it.
You were never that persuasive.
Certainly in my 37 years of coaching, I've never seen it.
With your powers of persuasion, Williams-Goss makes one. And Lenz, that's one of those moments, though, where the player's action leaves the official no choice.
No choice at all. They made the right call. Now, Utah has 0 assists, 7 turnovers, and they're only down 4 in this game. So this is an important stretch with 3.5 minutes to go. If they can continue to keep contact with Washington, not let them get away from them, they can make the adjustments at halftime, come back to second half, settle down, play a lot better basketball offensively. But if they let this guy get hot, they can forget that.
Wow. The net barely rippled on that shot by Wilcox.
Well, not only that, I like the fact he shoots it and his mouthpiece is hanging out of his mouth. He plays with his mouthpiece as much as Michael Jordan played with his tongue.
That's one of them. And as a shooter, there are not many better feelings than that when you drain a shot like that and the net just barely moves. Van Dyke got the lane. A strong rebound by Simmons for Washington.
By Simmons. Remember again, they did not have him for about 8 weeks of the season. He's been a big lift for them because he's a veteran player that understands the system, the conference he understands as well, and how to get it done at this level.
So here's Utah. 5 baskets is all they have, trying to see if they can hang in there and not let Washington put a finish kick onto this first half.
When you talk about a pure shooter, watch the mouthpiece, watch the shot, and when you can shoot it like this and that net doesn't move. Now, understand, he's fading away just looking at and holding that jumper a la Wesley Snipes. I'm so pretty. But he shoots the ball extremely well. One of the best in the country.
Taylor, nice baseline. Brandon Taylor, second basket. And Utah has fought because they haven't been very good on offense. They've had to fight to stay in this game. They want to make sure they do stay in the final 2 minutes of the half.
Well, you see again, Brandon Taylor is face guarding C.J. Wilcox. He's trying to deny him the basketball, doing everything he can to make somebody else on this Washington team beat them. But when you have a guy explosive like Williams Goss, you got to pay attention to detail with him as well, too.
Oh, sneaking in there was Kemp to grab the loose ball and put it back. So now Washington starting to make a little bit of a dent in offensive rebound.
Well, what they're starting to do is impose their will in terms of getting into the lane, getting Wilcox's looks, getting rebound putbacks. They're starting to control the game even more so with a minute and a half to go.
Lenz bats that one out. Van Dyke. Utah has not made a 3 in this first half.
Not made a 3 because Washington's defense has suffocated the three-point shot, and when they do get one, they get extreme shot pressure.
All right, DeLon Wright gets himself to the line under a minute.
Now, let me tell you what happened in this play, because you think DeLon Wright just beat them, but Washington forced him baseline. You find a lot of NBA teams doing this, where anytime there's a ball screen, they'll jump on top of the ball screen and force that offensive player to drive right into the post area where the big is waiting. And that time, it looked like DeLon Wright kind of got away, but that's exactly where they wanted him to go. Then he made an outstanding play to get the foul.
All right, DeLon Wright with 6 in the first half. Blackwell comes back in here with an offensive possession coming for Washington.
You still get the feel again that if Utah can get 2 stops and 2 buckets, they go in the locker room with tremendous momentum. If Washington can come down and get 2 buckets and 2 stops, they go into the locker room. So it's going to be interesting this last 58 seconds who controls the momentum of the game headed into halftime.
And this is where I'm always curious to see how college teams play this, because you can get 2 possessions for one here if you're Washington.
And they are going right at it to do that.
And Williams Goss scores. That's even better.
Well, there's their 1 bucket. Now, if they get their stop and score again, they've done exactly what they needed to do to control the game, closing out the half.
So that was a smart play by Williams Goss. Now, Utah needs to make sure. Washington does have a foul to give here. Well, they didn't give it. They used it, but it put DeLon Wright at the line. So once again, Mike Yam coming up with the State Farm Halftime Report. Looking ahead tomorrow night, Arizona and UCLA, their first meeting of the year at Pauley. And, of course, tonight's first game between Colorado and the Cougars in Spokane. All of that coming up with Mike in the State Farm Halftime Report. C.J. Wilcox, foul. It was a shooting foul, so 2 for Wright.
Now, understanding both of these coaches have a timeout that they have to use here in the first half, so I'm waiting to see which coach is going to call a timeout for either an offensive play or a defensive stop.
DeLon Wright is now put 9 points up. Princeton On was coming out here. He's going to defend for Utah in this final Washington possession.
That would have been a good time for Lorenzo to call a timeout to get 1 player. Good time for Larry to call a timeout to do something creative defensively to get the stop as well, too, with both of these teams having a timeout that they will basically lose going into halftime.
See Wilcox walking into the left corner there. Brandon Taylor on him. Now takes the handoff. Tried to set up Blackwell. It's going to go out off the leg of Loveridge. And Little break for Washington there. Loveridge accidentally hit that one out, and now there's Coach Kent. There you go.
Coach Romar takes that timeout to set up a play here. And
so Washington will use its first half timeout, 7.5. Chance to get the last play in. Tomorrow night, more Pac-12 basketball. This will be regional, 2 games at the same time. Stanford and Oregon State will play in Corvallis, Arizona State, and USC at the Galen Center. And live coverage will all begin with the basketball pregame show on Pac-12 Networks. And let's get those times right. That was the incorrect time on there. Those games will be at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Our basketball pregame show will be at 6:30 Pacific time tomorrow night here on Pac-12 Networks.
Washington has an opportunity now to get C.J. Wilcox a look, and they like to do what I call a screen or screener. They have him set the first screen, and then they will screen for him on the second or third screen. Or they have a chance to decoy him and go at somebody else. But in this situation, hey, give your big-time player a big-time opportunity to knock down a big-time shot as you go into the end of the half. See the screen down there. Here comes a screen for him on the other side, and sure enough, they give him the look.
Oh, nice play by Loveridge, and DeLon Wright covers the ball. Could have taken a timeout. He doesn't, and Utah does not get a good shot off. Well, Utah defended well, but didn't utilize a timeout.
You know, I'm going to tell you something. In this conference, particularly on the road, it is very important that you understand the game as a player, because DeLon Wright had an opportunity with the steal to take the timeout. They could have had 3 seconds on the shot clock to get one more play and get one more look, but unfortunately they don't get an opportunity to do it.
Well, Washington, C.J. Wilcox made 2 threes. That was his offense in the half. Utah really struggled, shoots just 26% in their first road half, but the lead only 5. Mike Yam coming up with the State Farm halftime report next.
Meet Mary. She loves to shop online with her debit card, and so does Bill, an identity thief who stole Mary's identity, took over her bank accounts, and stole her hard-earned money. Unfortunately, millions of Americans just like you learn all it may take is a little misplaced information to wreak havoc on your life. This is identity theft, and no one helps stop it better than LifeLock. LifeLock offers the most comprehensive identity theft protection available. If Mary had LifeLock's bank account alerts, she may have been notified before it was too late. LifeLock's credit notification service is on the job 24/7. As soon as they detect the threat to your identity within their network, they will alert you, protecting you before the damage is done. LifeLock has the most comprehensive identity theft protection available, guarding your social security number, your money, your credit, even the equity in your home.
My years as a prosecutor taught me that we all need to protect ourselves from crime. In today's world, that includes identity theft. It's a serious problem. We all have to protect ourselves.
While identity theft can't be completely stopped, no one works harder to protect you than LifeLock. You even get a $1 million service guarantee. That's security no one can beat. You have so much to protect and nothing to lose when you call LifeLock right now and get 60 days of identity theft protection risk-free. That's right, 60 days risk-free. Use promo code NOTME. Order now and get this document shredder to keep sensitive documents out of the wrong hands. A $29 value, free. Don't wait until you become the next victim. Call 1-800-494-9780 for 60 days of LifeLock identity theft protection risk-free and get a document shredder free. Use promo code NOTME. Call 1-800-494-9780 now.
Five-point game in Seattle. Welcome to the State Farm Halftime Report. Mike Yam inside our San Francisco studios. Utah playing it at just its second road game of the season. Here's the bad news. They're shooting just 26% from the floor in the first half. The good news, though, only trailing Washington by 5. Let's check in, though, on what happened earlier tonight here on the Pac-12 Networks. 15th ranked team in the land, Colorado, matching up against Washington State. No Devontae Lacey dealing with that rib injury. Under 2 minutes to play here. Tied at 53. Yeah, tied at 53. Xavier Talton buries that triple. The Buffs up by 3. And Cougars still trailing. Hugh Johnson, you got to be kidding me. Oh, boy, that was a big shot. 10 points for him. We get a little extra basketball because Askia Booker slips there on that final shot, not able to give it to go. The Pac-12 Player of the Week, Booker, that is. Overtime here, tied at 58. Spencer Dinwiddie didn't take a shot in the first half, scoreless at the break. Trying to make his presence felt. 6 points in this one, just 2 of 5 in the game. In overtime, though, the story was Josh Scott, the big man, getting it done. 8 of 12 from the floor. 8 of his 19 came in that extra session. Here's Lamar Hurd with the man himself.
Well, we had a thriller tonight in Spokane. Colorado Buffaloes able to survive against the Washington State Cougars. Josh, if any team saw you guys play last weekend against Oregon, beating a top 10 team in the country, and then you saw Washington State play, nobody would have expected this type of game. Is this what you guys expected?
No, we didn't play very well this game. Give them credit, they hit some tough shots, but we didn't play well. We got to play better. We got to figure some stuff out defensively. We got to be prepared to win tough games on the road like this and, figure out a way to get stops even when we're not scoring. And I don't think we did that for the first 20, 30 minutes of the game.
You'll have a chance this weekend against a tough Washington Huskies team to make it up. Good luck to you guys.
All right, let's check in on another top 25 matchup. 23rd ranked Illinois getting Bo Ryan, and 4th ranked Wisconsin. First half, Badgers up by 16. That's not good if you're a Illini fan. Frank Kaminsky buries that triple. He had 15. Part of a 20-0 Badgers run. In the second half, they're up by 21. Sam Decker getting to the bucket. 17-6 for him. It's a 23-point advantage. And Ben Brust, I should say, on the wing. Oh, that's pure. 18 points, 6 rebounds. Wisconsin, easy winner. All right, you saw what transpired on the Pac-12 networks a little bit earlier with Washington State. Boy, they played Colorado real tough. They got a date with Utah coming up next, and the Utes obviously trying to get things done against their opponent in Washington tonight. That's going right now at the break, and keep in mind the Huskies still in control. We're checking on another big matchup. Sean Miller's team, top-ranked team in the country, what he's saying about UCLA.
In the past, when I bought a car, the salesman comes over and tells you, okay, this is the price, and you're like, you don't know if you're getting a good deal or not.
That's what led up to us looking at TrueCar.com.
And with TrueCar.com, there's no buyer's remorse.
Save time, save money, and never overpay. Visit TrueCar.com.
Saturday, conference rivals face off in a heated women's hoop showdown. At 3, Tia Presley and the Washington State Cougars go for a season sweep over the Washington Huskies. Live coverage starts Saturday at 3 on Pac-12 Networks.
Tonight, it's a primetime men's basketball matchup on Pac-12 Networks. Jahi Carson leads Arizona State into the Galen Center to face USC. Or Dwight Powell and the Stanford Cardinal meet Oregon State in a Pac-12 North Division showdown. Live coverage starts tonight at 7 on Pac-12 Networks. Check pac-12.com for games in your area.
There's no such thing as no man's land to me. A man just needs a place where he can be wild and free. 10 calories.
Dr. Pepper 10, manliest low-calorie soda in the history of mankind. Bold flavor.
When the game's on the line, our team is very excited and very motivated.
I try to stay calm and hope that they'll go out in the same manner and be able to display that on the court.
They need to know that our game plan is going to lead them to success.
The ultimate goal is to pull something off to win the game.
These are young kids that are working hard for you, and you want to do the right thing for them.
It's trying to be calm, call the right play, and make sure the players are confident in whatever it is that we're doing.
I learned a lot from Dick Tomey. He taught me to be a man of word. If you say it, then do it. His door was always open. If there was anything that he said, he did. He stood by it. Bridge for Kids, it's tailored toward underprivileged kids, and we've done charitable events in Chicago, in Tucson, Arizona, and also in Sacramento, California, where I'm from. And we continue to do that year in, year out. We do football camps, we do giveaways, and we just continue to grow. that starts at home. That starts at home. You know what I mean? Never forget where you come from and what it took to get here. You know, if you get an opportunity once you get to the level of college or professional ranks, you know, always remember where you came from and always try to get back. It's important because that's where I come from. You know, it's important for kids to see someone that they admire, you know, players that they admire. Few kids love football players, and I want the kids to know that at one time we were exactly where they were.
State Farm Halftime Report continues from the campus in Seattle, where Washington has a 5-point halftime lead, and the score very clearly tells you there wasn't a lot of offense. And when you say, Ernie, not a lot of offense in a half involving Washington, that means C.J. Wilcox he wasn't able to dictate on offense the way he would like to.
Well, it's conference play, and everything gets bogged down in conference play, but C.J. Wilcox is still just an outstanding basketball player. He has the total package. I love this jab step to back the defender off, knocks down his sweet three-point shot. And on the other end, DeLon Wright, watch the bump and the finish for him. And then, of course, Brandon Taylor, he's done his job as quarterback in this team. But Utah has not shot the ball well at all. You see they're 0 for 9 from three-point range, and they are a team that really scores it. But look at their point distribution here. 8 points in the paint. 2 of those baskets are all for layups. And then they have 9 free throws. That's a good thing because free throws can keep you in the game. But then at the same time, mid-range only 4 points. But here's the most amazing stat coming up here right now. Washington's defense, the shot pressure has kept Utah from scoring any three-point baskets right now. For them to get moving in this game, they've got to start having better player movement, ball movement, and get out and run a little bit more in transition.
Yeah, nothing came easy for Utah. No. You're right. They missed all 9 of their threes. If you're Utah, you've got to be happy. Wilcox only has 4 shots in the first half. So we'll see if there's more offense in store with Washington starting the second half up 5.
Hey, what's up? I'm here at WSU, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about our basketball team. We're going to be faster, stronger, hungrier, way more aggressive on defense. Right there, Beasley Coliseum. You know what the best thing about Beasley Coliseum is? No barking allowed. Sorry, Huskies. We've got stars returning like Will Diorio, Royce Woolridge, DJ Shelton, and did I mention Devontae Lacey? Slam dunk, rebound, three-pointers. You're going to see some great basketball. Fight, fight, fight for Washington State. Go, Cougs!
School back this week at Washington, so you can see there's a nice contingent of students trying to fire up. If the Huskies had, Ernie, what do you think would have happened if they had played the first 5 minutes of the game with a real fierceness?
Well, I say it again, the building, the atmosphere in here used to be such a roar, and they could just steamroll you in the first 5-10 minutes of a game. And they had a chance to get there with Utah, and I don't know whether it's the late start, the rain, whatever you want to call it, but it doesn't seem like it has the energy in the building that it used to have. And this is a good Washington team that's starting to come of age. So they need, as their team grows, for this building to get back also, so they have an opportunity to be one of the most feared home court advantages in the conference like it was in the old days.
You got your eyes glistening a little bit. We're telling some stories today about some of your moments in here.
Washington starts out in the man-to-man defense, and I like the fact that they do
DeLon Wright goes right at him.
Well, they had the switch, and there's no way Paris Block was going to guard DeLon Wright. He's too athletic, too quick, and he just blew right by him to get the layup. Now, I'm sure Utah talked about their offense and being more aggressive and attacking more, and I would like to see them attack out of their defense. When they can get Washington to miss a shot or turn it over, get down the floor and go score like they were doing in the non-conference season. They were awesome in transition.
Williams got to the miss, so here's Loveridge.
Loveridge can't even get a look in the half court. That's why, again, transition, get back before a team sets up their defense. I remember Coach Kasturiak talked about they wanted to be the fastest team in the country. Well, right now, that's not their mentality when they rebound the ball.
Certainly, that's exactly what that last possession was a perfect example.
Well, what happens is they don't give themselves a chance to get easy buckets, and then all of a sudden you've got to score everything in the half court, and they're struggling to manufacture points right now against a very good defensive team in the Washington Huskies.
Williams-Goss was on the baseline there. Gives the ball back to Utah. It's also that kind of game that's unfolding where if somebody can string together a couple of shots, it can make a big difference. And that's when you look at a guy like C.J. Wilcox. If he can knock 2 or 3 shots in a row down. Taylor looking at the striped shirts, thinking he might get some help there. Nothing. And it's out of bounds to Washington.
Well, he was hoping to get a call there, and you're not going to get that call if you're just going to go and turn your back and throw it up. What he needed to do was take his body into the defender and go through the defender to try to score. He went away from the defender, and that's why there was no call.
So once again, Taylor of Utah is running with C.J. Wilcox. Only 4 shots so far. And there's the 5th by Wilcox, but it was contested by a taller man.
And again, they refused to run. They had a chance to transition down the floor, and they do not make Washington pay for a turnover or a bad shot, which is like a turnover. Now, the good thing about that is, Ted, they get a chance. They're in the game, and if you're down 3 on the road with 2 minutes to go, then you're in good shape.
Still blank, though, from the line. Taylor, that's his 4th, or rather his 3rd try from out there. Utah 0 for 10. Blackwell got inside, didn't finish, and then out of bounds again. Touching the ball was Washington's Anderson.
You talk about good defense. You know, this is a good, put your hands up. And again, there was no foul there. Good job by Olsen of just putting his hands straight up, and they call it that principle of verticality, where that big man can put his arms straight up and he has from the floor to the ceiling. That's his space in there. And as long as he doesn't lean those arms forward, there ends up being a no call.
Well, Washington now has opened up the second half without scoring. And Utah goes to its bench for Paczynski, replacing Olsen.
Both of these teams are good defensively. Both of them make the other team struggle in the half court, and that's why both of these teams need to get out and run, get in transition, get easy looks before a team can set its defense up on you.
Oh, nice little slip inside by Dakari Tucker, his first points. Well, this is one of those games where Utah can look at a lot of things that haven't gone right for them, haven't gone well for them, and they look at the scoreboard and say, hey, we're only down 1.
When you talk about Brandon Taylor does so many things right, you look at the nice pass here to Tucker on the baseline.
And you know, Ernie, you're making great points, I think, about Utah and their tempo, but of course we're so accustomed to seeing Washington being the explosive team.
Well, I've seen Utah, again, several times this year. They have been the explosive team. They put up points like crazy because, again, they get up and down the floor, they're running. And the biggest thing in this game, I don't see Jordan Loveridge getting an opportunity to shoot the shots, get his points, get his opportunities like he normally gets. That should be a foul there.
Well, Blackwell trying to get one on Paczynski. This is the first Utah lead since 9-8. And Washington still has not scored in this now 4 minutes plus of the second half. Loveridge going in. And that is a block, and Loveridge will end up at the line.
New points of emphasis. Very rarely will you come out of that half circle and get a charge call. And that time, Blackwell late coming out of the circle, late getting over officials early on the call.
In order to become a champion, you have to understand the value of a team.
If you've got talent and the kid's got heart, you got a chance to win.
When your preparation meets opportunity, good things happen.
You have to go over situations time and time again, and during the game they are almost automatic.
Most of all, you need team chemistry.
You need to have great character and be able to wake up every day and know that you got to bring it.
Welcome to Arizona State University. Forks up. I'm Nick Renio. We're here at Wells Fargo Arena. This right here is the student section. We're with the 942 crew. There's 942 seats in the lower bowl of the student section, leading chants, leading cheers. Now in our second year, we're moving to every ASU athletic sport. Building tradition is a huge thing that I'm very into, and I firmly believe that tradition is a huge part about coming here to Arizona State University. This is a statue of head coach Frank Kush. What he did for the university for so long really put us on the map as a football program. We camp out all night. We get a boarding pass, and it's got a number on it. You get in the game early, you're that first person to get everything going into the stadium. We want to just go nuts as soon as we get into the stadium. My name is Nick Renio. I'm the class of 2014, and I'm a proud member of the 942 crew here at the Arizona State University. Let's go, Devils! Let's go! ASU!
Friday, it's a huge night of Pac-12 Women's Conference hoops with 2 back-to-back showdowns. At 5, Shanae Ogumake and the number 4 Stanford Cardinal face Utah. Then at 7, 2 top 20 teams face off. Number 19 Cal battles number 17 Colorado. Live coverage starts Friday at 5, only on Pac-12 Networks.
Hi, I'm Dana Altman, basketball coach at the University of Oregon, and you're watching the Pac-12 Network.
All right, DeLon Wright with 11 points for Utah, leading them in scoring tonight. Younger brother of an NBA player, Darrell Wright. DeLon Wright has been, just looking at numbers, Ernie, again, we asked Larry Kraskowiak about that today because DeLon Wright, not just a high assist-to-turnover ratio, almost 3-to-1, which is great, 7 rebounds a game. 7 rebounds a game as a guard.
Well, not only that, this past weekend, he had 7 blocks in the 2 games this past weekend. So, again, you're talking about a player that can do it at both ends of the floor. And, again, I think he's somebody that has surprised his coaching staff just how good of a player he is. And believe it or not, Ted, Utah has a 3-point lead in this game. Yes. It tells you again where Washington has come out of the half sluggish offensively, has not been able to score the ball, and Utah now is taking control of the game, playing a half-court basketball game.
Well, there's what they needed. Williams-Goss. Utah had scored the first 8 points of the second half, and now Williams-Goss gets the Huskies going. DeLon Wright in. And DeLon Wright now with 13.
DeLon Wright's going to end up with 20-plus points in this game again because he's excellent when they spread the floor at putting it down and getting to the basket.
All right, so here we go now. One of the point guards are kind of taking over a little bit. Williams-Goss with consecutive baskets.
Well, the reason he hit that last basket is Utah is elected to go underneath screens with the exception of C.J. Wilcox. And Washington, I think, again, shoots the ball too low. Goss can knock down shots. Andrew Andrews can knock down shots. So you've got to be careful going underneath screens, which is something they worked on today in practice.
Well, I think you said something, Ernie, coming out of the locker room. It's clear DeLon Wright's playing a little more aggression.
Well, he's special. They have the ball in his hands every single time coming down the floor after a made bucket. He brings the ball up, and they're spending a lot of time allowing him to go one-on-one and beat his guy off the dribble.
And Baczynski got a hand on that entry for Blackwell.
Tough pass by Andrews. Very difficult to throw a pass back across your body. Go in one direction and throw it back the other direction. Almost impossible to do.
Loveridge got stopped there in mid-move. His coach was instructing.
Well, Lorenzo wants to get it into the zone, and again, they want to take away the drive of DeLon Wright, so they put the zone on to get him to shoot the jump shot, and as you saw, it did work. He missed it, so good adjustment by Coach Romar.
Now Williams-Goss matching up against Wright. Nice move. Oh, Andrews, nice little inside, and Blackwell and one.
He was lucky to get that off. That time he caught it and brought it down low. As a big man, you want to catch high and keep it high. He didn't need to put it on the floor. He could have gathered himself, kept it high, and put it up, and it ends up being our Allied bank assist of the game is right here. Williams-Goss on the nice pass. Actually, Andrews on the nice pass. Blackwell on the finish in the end one.
So a 3-point play. It was the first field goal of the game for Paris Blackwell. And the third foul on Baczynski of Utah, first player in the game with 3 fouls.
Washington is back to the man-to-man, and again, they've got C.J. Wilcox on DeLon Wright, and that time Wilcox did an excellent job of that gap defense, sitting in the gap and disrupting the ball handler. Where is Jordan Loveridge in this game again? I think Utah needs to do something to get him some more touches.
Well, now Washington's starting to get some good looks inside Simmons.
Trying to get a little bit better rhythm to their offenses. Utah calls the timeout.
You see Larry Krystkowiak right to veteran official Dick Cartmel. Simmons the layup, 5 straight for Washington into the timeout.
Do you love fluffy cheese omelets, scrumptious baked apple desserts, savory French onion soup, melt in your mouth chocolate souffle? Now you can make delicious gourmet food in minutes right in your microwave with StoneWave, the new microwave cooking miracle. Look, slice an apple, add cinnamon, sugar, and butter, and cook for 3 minutes in the microwave. It smells like homemade apple pie. Top with ice cream for a delectable dessert. Watch this. Core a sweet onion, add butter in a bouillon cube, pop it in the microwave for 4 minutes, and you won't believe the heavenly aroma. Cut it up for tasty toppings or a French onion soup bursting with flavor. The secret is the specially designed chimney that allows steam to escape while the custom dome circulates heat evenly, infusing flavor into food. Best of all, the ceramic surface is non-stick. No need for butter, fats, or oil, so it's the best way ever to make eggs. Simply place it in the microwave for 1 minute for a perfect fluffy omelet. Then just cover for a few seconds and look, it melts like magic. This microwave fits 4 StoneWaves, so you can make custom omelets in the microwave for the whole family. Poached eggs are great, but what a pain to make. Just pop an egg into StoneWave, and in just 1 minute, you've got a smooth, velvety, perfect poached egg. It's all right here in the StoneWave recipe book. All recipes in 5 minutes or less. So quick and easy, anyone can cook like a pro. You can even make a chocolate souffle just like the restaurants in only 5 minutes for just 50 cents. And yes, right in your microwave. So decadently delicious, you'll be amazed. You get the amazing StoneWave, made of ceramic stoneware with a special hollow handle that stays cool enough to hold, plus all the recipes and incredible value for just $10. But call now and you can double your order. That's 2 for the price of 1. Call or click now and find out about free shipping.
Call 1-800-394-1271, but hurry and you can get a special offer second StoneWave with all of today's orders. Call 1-800-394-1271. That's 1-800-394-1271. Call now.
All right, Utah started this half, scored the first 8 points. Now Washington, little bit, just a small surge into this timeout, Ernie.
Well, they scored on this last play because they do a good job with the screen. If you freeze it right there, look at Dalen Baczynski in the middle of the lane. He is looking away from the play. He's looking at the false motion on the other side of the floor. He should have already rotated over to take Simmons out, and he's late, which means he's too late and gives Simmons the opportunity to score the bucket. So again, bad defensive rotation by Utah allows Washington to run a great pick and roll, and Desmond Simmons gets an easy layup.
And I'm guessing that that's exactly what you just pointed out there, Ernie, why Larry Krystkowiak stopped the game.
Well, he stopped the game, had a little chat with the official, but really should have been having a chat with Baczynski because he did not see the play on the weak side. Should have rotated over much earlier.
Washington, trapping right.
Love the way you trap out of a timeout. This is the time where you can change the game, and it looks like you got a little bit of an injury there on Blackwell. Gets rolled under.
He's back up there. Yeah, Baczynski in that dive for the ball, Baczynski rolled onto Blackwell's leg.
Looked like one of those big offensive linemen in football. In fact, they both did, as big as they are. Getting rolled on when they're blocking on the line. Don't see where they're going as Wilcox rises up from deep now.
Man, there's nothing Brandon Taylor can do to stop that shot.
Well, there's nothing he can do because he's a lot smaller player. C.J. Wilcox is 6'6", he's got long arms, he's got excellent athleticism. He can rise up at any time. Again, I think they ought to look at him and give him more opportunity to take over the game.
Now there's a much-needed score for Utah. First points for Anwas.
Utah started the game 6 of 10, shooting 60%. They shot 26% in the first half and was still in the game, and that's why right now they're only down 3.
Well, here's what I was kind of thinking could happen. If Wilcox, if he strings 2 or 3 in a row, suddenly this gap opens. The way the game's being played, a 10-point lead in this game is going to be huge.
Well, he has the ability to take over a game, and they cannot defend him. Brandon Taylor cannot defend C.J. Wilcox.
That ball tipped and then went out off the hands of Baczynski. It'll come back to Washington.
When you talk about a pure shooter, and it's your time to take over a game, it's C.J. Wilcox time now. Not only does he take over the game, he does it with the mouthpiece dangling.
Our mortgage payment is too high. I think we should challenge.
You got it. We will now go to the official mortgage review from Quicken Loans. Upon official mortgage review, Quicken Loans can save them over $200 per month.
That's good! Oh, now that's a lot of savings. Boomski! Challenge us to save you money with the official mortgage review from Quicken Loans.
In order to make a champion, you need to have an extremely tough-minded person.
You got to understand the work, the time, the effort, the sweat.
You try to have a culture within your program. Be really relentless in the pursuit to doing things right every day.
Spend the extra time necessary before practice, after practice, and really live and breathe basketball.
Putting your personal agendas aside for the good of the team. You can win championships.
It was the upset heard across the college football landscape after suffering a humiliating 77-28 defeat to the Cornhuskers in their previous meeting. Arizona State was driven by payback.
Plummer now running out of time. Buys himself a little wide open. Back one over his pull for a touchdown. He's in the end zone. Ball is still loose. Backed off the ball, and it is recovered by. It's going to be a safety.
The Sun Devils' spectacular defense forced 3 safeties.
Still 3rd and 10. In trouble. There's another safety.
And ended the Cornhuskers' 26-game win streak. The shocking outcome and aftermath was instantly etched into the history books.
One of the great victories in Arizona State history, but I never thought I'd see what I saw tonight.
Pac-12 basketball brought to you by Esurance, now offering savings for Pac-12 students and alumni. Find out more at esurance.com/Pac-12. And by Quicken Loans for a mortgage experience that's engineered to amaze. Let's look at our Esurance game summary. And you know what? We could spend a lot of time parsing a lot of things. Quite honestly, the middle one to me. C.J. Wilcox has made 4 threes, 2 in a row here, Ernie, and Utah had made 1 tonight.
Well, not only that, but I'm going to throw another one on there. Jordan Leverage averages 17 points, 8 rebounds a game. He is 1 for 3 from the field tonight with 4 rebounds. So, number one, 3 shots is all he's taken. He needs to get more looks, more shots, and get him more involved in the game. And I don't know if something's wrong or what, but he's just not active enough, and he's really not in the flow of the game at all. So that's a big part of your offense, and he's an energy guy also. He's a guy that gets them moving, gets them going, and he's struggling to score right now. So hats off to Washington's defense.
And the game that Utah won here last January, Loveridge, we emphasized Brandon Taylor's game. Loveridge had 17 points that night.
No question. So you notice the adjustments that they came out of the timeout and put a bigger player on C.J. Wilcox.
And Princeton Onwas now. Make it a little tougher for Wilcox just to rise and shoot.
No question about it, but now Onwas has to guard that drive game and the back cuts and coming off the screens where Brandon Taylor a little bit more focused at that. So he's going to beat you in another way.
So Utah, again, in this slower tempo, needing to take advantage of their possessions. And Onwas drew body and won. So Onwas put in for some D, contributes at the other end.
Well, he contributes because he turns the corner. This should have been a switch here, possibly by Desmond Simmons, and he doesn't switch. And then all of a sudden, Williams Goss has to come over too late with the help and gives Onwas a chance to get to the line.
Wow, I think that foul should have been on Johnson of Washington. They gave it to Williams Goss. That'll be the second on Williams Goss and a chance at a three-point play for Onwas of Utah. Oh, and now Utah's going to get it back. Simmons could not. He was harassed by Jeremy Olsen and could not secure the rebound.
That happened because, again, Simmons needs to get into the leg of that bigger player that he has the inside position on so he doesn't have a chance to reach over the top. If he does, it ends up being a foul, so not enough contact.
How about Onwas?
Well, what you're starting to see now is a team starting to impose its will, because I saw a Utah team that made a living in transition, attacking the lane, getting to the basket, getting to the foul line. They're doing it now out of the half court. With the emphasis on the newer rules, I'm just shocked that more drive opportunities have not happened, but a lot of that goes to Washington in their gap defense. They've done a good job of sitting in the gaps and taking those drives away. That's why I would like to see Utah get out and run more, because when you get out and run in transition, you don't allow Washington a chance to set up that great defense, that newly improved defense.
Now Princeton Onwas has contributed with two big drives. He's missed two free throws. And inside Loveridge, boy, everything down. And finally a timeout called. Loveridge looked like he was going to have a chance to put it in, couldn't. And then Olsen grabbed the loose ball and took a timeout. And Utah's come right back after those two quick threes by Wilcox. Or do you think Washington's got a little momentum? And here's Utah.
Well, what I'm really thinking is, why didn't DeLon Wright call a timeout with 3 seconds to go in the first half when they had a timeout to burn? So, but you're absolutely right. They've hung in the game because they continue to fight at the defensive end. They shut Washington down for a while, and Washington, C.J. Wilcox rises up. Utah makes the adjustments, puts a bigger player on Wilcox. They do a good job again at regaining control, regaining momentum of the game.
All right, so the weekend will wrap up. Sunday we'll have some basketball for you on Pac-12 Networks. These Utes will be in Pullman to play the Cougars at 4 o'clock, and then number 1 Arizona at the Galen Center at 6 o'clock Sunday. Men's Hoops doubleheader here on Pac-12 Networks.
Princeton Onwas has scored Utah's last 6 points on 3 of 3 shooting.
And he's a guy, again, he did not play in either of Utah's games last weekend.
I would do something to get Loveridge going. Get him off of a screen. Do something to get him involved in the game, because they need his scoring. DeLon Wright continues to handle the ball, and Loveridge continues to catch it uncomfortable and out of his shooting range.
Wow, DeLon Wright timed that perfectly. Everything there but the finish. So Washington dodged one. And now bumping on the outside. Wilcox trying to get free, and Onwas up too tight. And Onwas called for the foul. Second on Onwas.
His job now, he has to be the guy to face guard C.J. Wilcox. And that time, Wilcox is so good at moving without the basketball. He actually drew that foul because he was so active without the basketball.
Oh, and saw Sean Kemp just threw a moving block there. Sean Kemp, that was a football pulling guard play.
Well, he didn't need to do it because Onwas was going to go over the top of the screen. C.J. Wilcox went underneath to the corner, so he was going to get the wide open look. That time, your job was done by just allowing and making the player to go over the top of the screen. You see, C.J. goes underneath. Onwas goes over the top. You didn't need to commit that foul. C.J. Wilcox was going to get his shot off because the defender went the wrong direction. You got to stay connected to C.J. Wilcox, trail him underneath the screens to take that shot away.
Third foul on Kemp of the Huskies. And a drive by Wright to tie the game. 17 for DeLon Wright.
I told you he's going to have a 20-plus because you continue to say the same thing I saw all during preseason. A drive by Wright, which is why he's averaging 68% field goal percentage. Tops in the conference, tops in the country.
So here we are coming down to the 9-minute mark, and Utah and Washington, by the way, hasn't scored since those back-to-back threes by Wilcox, which was out of a previous timeout, and Loveridge gives Utah the lead.
He's the guy I think can make the difference in the game for Utah because he's been so quiet in the game, and he's such an energy guy. The other guys feed off of him, and he can score the ball so well.
So since Wilcox's consecutive threes, Utah had scored 8 straight until Andrews.
Understand again, both of these teams, when you get the ball on the wing, they like to force you back to the baseline, force you into the big guy that's down in the paint. And Andrew Andrews did an excellent job. He knew the defender was on his backside, and he just pulled up quickly, absorbed the contact, knocked down the bucket.
So Andrews delivered some big points tonight. That's 10 for him. And Romar's Huskies back up by 1. Wright sets up Anwas.
Anwas doesn't shoot that.
And he sets up Olsen, who can't put it down. Perfect setup to Jeremy Olsen.
By not running, guys like Anderson and Andrews, they really lose a lot of their game because they can't get out and score. Williams-Goss can't get out and score.
Oh, nice job by Andrews. He stopped. One of the few times it looked like Utah was going to push. And they stopped Loveridge. Oh, and then Wilcox is blocked.
By who? DeLon Wright. Here that guy is again. He's always thinking the game. He always sees the play ahead of time. He makes so many plays on the floor, offensively, defensively. You see the steal here. Watch the recovery that comes up. Right here, DeLon Wright gets a hand on it again.
We are Beaver Nation, Gale Coliseum, baby. This place is loud. Beaver Dam's where all the students are at, supporting the players, always built up and ready to go. Play fast, play hard, high tempo, lots of dunks, lots of blocks. Nobody comes into Gale Coliseum and beats the Beavers. Nobody. Roberto Nelson throwing up from 3, Charlie Barton bringing the ball up. Best of all, Angus Brandt is back. And we can't forget about the 7-footer, Shea Anjai. 7 feet. O-S-U, Oregon State. Fight, fight, fight. Go Beavs.
Hello, Stanford fans, and welcome to another edition of Stanford Football on KZSU Stanford. Hi, I'm Sam Fisher, senior here at Stanford, doing the play-by-play for our student radio coverage. Welcome to KZSU, our in-studio home, ready to bring you the action. And my first ever live broadcast was courtside at the Staples Center, the home of the Lakers, for Stanford women's basketball. Ended up winning, and I was hooked. We are headed to the field to get some stuff for some features we're writing at the Daily right now. David Shaw has not come after my advice, though we've got a good back-and-forth relationship. Oh, well, look who it is, Chineye Ogwumike, women's basketball star. I try to have a bit of a presence. People see me all around, try to feel comfortable, try to make everyone else comfortable with me, because at the end of the day, the more comfortable people are around me, the more I can give my listeners and give my fellow students. I am Sam Fisher, class of 2014, and I am the voice of Stanford.
Saturday, conference rivals square off in a heated women's hoop showdown. At 5, Jamie Weisner and Oregon State look to snap a 3-game skid when the Beavers roll into Eugene to face Oregon. Live coverage starts Saturday at 5 on Pac-12 Networks.
And let's look at our Quicken Loans amazing plays of the game. C.J. Wilcox.
Well, he's got that incredible jump shot. He can freeze you with the step, and then he gets a little guy on him. He just goes right over the top and comes back again. It's so sweet. Great rotation. I love the way that net doesn't even move. It ends up being our Quicken Loans amazing plays of the games as you see two outstanding players going head-to-head with each other. DeLon Wright is a fabulous, talented player. Defensively, he understands the game. Offensively, he understands the game. And then C.J. Wilcox, the best pure shooter in this conference, one of the best in the country. I love the fact that he knows, again, there's 8 minutes to go in this game. Watch for both of these players to step up and take over the game. But Brandon Taylor and Williams Goss will be a factor in this game down the stretch.
All right, Brandon Taylor's back on the floor for Utah, but he is now guarding Anderson. Utah scrambling off the inbounds, and Wilcox.
I didn't like that one because you know why? He had a
big man.
Well, he had a 7-footer coming out of Mount Olson. That time you shot fake and blow by him and go dunk or go put the pressure on them to rotate and force a defense to rotate as opposed to trying to shoot over top of that lengthy shot pressure that came flying out at him.
All right, we're in an era where the three-point shot is so instrumental. Utah has not made one tonight. 7.5 to play, and they're right in it. That's the third foul on Williams Goss.
Crowd doesn't like it, but DeLon Wright did a nice job of selling us. He came off the screen and ducked that shoulder, took the contact, did a good job of acting to sell the foul.
Neither team to the bonus yet. No one in serious foul trouble. Kemp for Washington, Baczynski for Utah with 3.
With the pace of this game, it's going to be a down-to-the-wire game. It'll be a game that's been won in the last minute, the last couple of possessions.
Wilcox, and he lays it in. So Wilcox's first 2-point basket.
Now, he made that steal. Took it the length of the floor with his left hand and finished with his left hand. That's how talented he is.
Well, that gets a little roar back into Old Heck Ed. 3-point lead for the Huskies.
Utah again controls the clock, controls the tempo of the game.
Taylor got stuck in there. Andrews out. Anderson running and finishing. So there's Washington showing a little bit of the transition.
Well, you might want to take this crowd down and settle them down for timeout, but you've got to get a bucket here. If they get out and score again, you've got to get a timeout, and they go right to DeLon Wright, the guy that has the ability to split the screen and make something happen.
So 7 straight for Washington.
You just get an opportunity here for the steal here by Wilcox. Now he goes with his left hand. He only touches it to his right hand right before he scores it, and then here comes that mouthpiece coming out. Again, he did a good job of shooting the gap defensively.
Oh, and there's a basket. Utah needed Loveridge. Third field goal, 10 points.
They need Loveridge to find his game.
And that one also quiets down the crowd that was starting to make its most noise of the night. Andrews, he's made some timely shots tonight.
Well, with Nigel Williams-Goss, Andrew Andrews, C.J. Wilcox, those are 3 guards that can really score. And I like the fact that each one picks and chooses his opportunity to kind of do his thing offensively. But this guy, didn't I tell you before the game just how good he was? You've seen him for the first time. I've seen him 4 or 5 times now.
That was really impressive.
To split the defense and go score and finish like that was pretty amazing.
I think he split 4 guys, didn't he? 19 for DeLon Wright. And here we go now, coming down to the 5-minute mark, and here's Utah on the road. The story we set up at the beginning, they only played 1 road game all season until tonight, and here they are to the last 5 minutes with a chance.
Well, they're playing possession basketball. And what I mean by that is they're really working the clock. They're making the game a possession-by-possession time, and then they're getting the ball to DeLon Wright. And watch the splitting of the defense there. And he comes to the other side to finish this play. That is a big-time move to split the defender, attack the basket on one side, scoop and come to the other side away from the defender to finish. they're going to give him an opportunity to win this game because they're going to take it every time, bring him off of a screen, or let him bring it down the floor, and they're going to put that ball in his hands to go make a basketball play, either a drive and kick or a drive and finish.
See Paczynski back in, and you noted we don't say this often about point guards. Double-double. DeLon Wright has a double-double tonight. And he's averaging 7 rebounds a game coming in, 10 tonight. 20 points.
Again, he's second in the nation in field goal percentage at 68% a game, so he's showing you why, because he can get to the hole so well. He's so skilled at putting it on the floor. He's got those long arms where he gets by you and extends, and you don't have an opportunity to recover on him.
Andrews feeling it. Andrews, who's been a scorer lately, 14 tonight.
He said, happy birthday, Brandon Taylor. Remember, it's Brandon Taylor's birthday, and right now he's getting spanked. Whether it's Andrews or Wilcox, they're taking turns giving him birthday spankings.
Utah 0 for 11 from the arc tonight. They are already in the bonus. They can get to the foul line. They need a late clock play here from Wright. And now Taylor, desperation. Loveridge had it partially blocked. Wilcox.
Two special players, DeLon Wright, C.J. Wilcox, doing it at both ends of the floor. That time, C.J. turns it over. Utah with a rare chance to run and score.
And Brandon Taylor made a nice final pass there to Wright. And back comes Williams-Goss and gets the transition score.
One of the things you have to do in defensive transition, somebody has to pick up the ball, and you see Coach Kasturiak again give that pistol sign on the side. That's DeLon Wright time. They're going to put the ball in his hands, allow him to make a play.
Wright gave it to Paczynski inside, lost it. Now a big possession. Oh, and Andrews doesn't get stopped. So he got fouled. Now Utah, that's only their 4th team foul, so there will not be any shots.
This game is about transition. Utah gets a rare transition, but they forget to get back on defense. Williams-Goss to the bucket. Huskies by 4.
Do you love fluffy cheese omelets, scrumptious baked apple desserts, savory French onion soup, melt in your mouth chocolate souffle? Now you can make delicious gourmet food in minutes right in your microwave with StoneWave, the new microwave cooking miracle. Look, slice an apple, add cinnamon, sugar, and butter, and cook for 3 minutes in the microwave. It smells like homemade apple pie. Top with ice cream for a delectable dessert. Watch this. Core a sweet onion, add butter in a bouillon cube. Pop it in the microwave for 4 minutes and you won't believe the heavenly aroma. Cut it up for tasty toppings or a French onion soup bursting with flavor. The secret is the specially designed chimney that allows steam to escape while the custom dome circulates heat evenly, infusing flavor into food. Best of all, the ceramic surface is non-stick. No need for butter, fats, or oil, so it's the best way ever to make eggs. Simply place it in the microwave for 1 minute for a perfect fluffy omelet. Then just cover for a few seconds and look, it melts like magic. This microwave fits 4 StoneWaves, so you can make custom omelets in the microwave for the whole family. Poached eggs are great, but what a pain to make. Just pop an egg into StoneWave and in just 1 minute, you've got a smooth, velvety, perfect poached egg. It's all right here in the StoneWave recipe book. All recipes in 5 minutes or less. So quick and easy, anyone can cook like a pro. You can even make a chocolate souffle just like the restaurants in only 5 minutes for just 50 cents. And yes, right in your microwave. So decadently delicious, you'll be amazed. You get the amazing StoneWave, made of ceramic stoneware with a special hollow handle that stays cool enough to hold, plus all the recipes and incredible value for just $10. But call now and you can double your order. That's 2 for the price of 1. Call or click now and find out about free shipping.
Call 1-800-394-1271, but hurry and you can get a special offer second StoneWave with all of today's orders. Call 1-800-394-1271. That's 1-800-394-1271. Call now.
Pac-12 basketball brought to you by State Farm. For auto, home, life, and banking, get to a better state. And by Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Ted Robinson, Ernie Kent, glad to have you with us here on the Pac-12 Networks in Seattle tonight. Coming down to the last three. There's your game situation.
Luckily, Utah has had this young man because he has been just amazing in this game. 8 of 14 from the field, has done it all by attacking the basket. Hasn't shot a jump shot yet that's gone in. Everything has been to the hole, to the hole. You might want to think about zoning a little bit to keep him out of the lane and force him to shoot it, because right now, the two guys that were the star of this game last year, Brandon Taylor, who had 19 last year, Jordan Leverage had 17 last year, they are a combined 5 of 18 in this game. DeLon Wright has kept them in this game with his ability to get to the basket. And again, you might want to think about zoning him to keep him out of the lane, force him to shoot it.
Well, you see the night for Wright. The biggest oddity tonight in this era of basketball is that C.J. Wilcox is the only player in the game tonight who's made a three-point shot. We will not see that happen very often in a season. Andrews is 16 now.
Understand, though, you've got two really good defensive teams that do a good job of taking away the three, excellent at shot pressuring your jump shots.
Right, one-on-one with Williams-Goss. Set it up for Taylor. And Utah still empty from the three-point line.
Nice block out by Blackwell that time on Baczynski. Did a great job of keeping him off the glass.
And here, if Washington scores on this possession, they're going to make things tough on Utah.
Well, they've got enough time left, but this has come down. The whole half has been a possession-by-possession game, almost like an NBA possession-by-possession chess match going on. So Utah's really not in bad shape if they can get a stop here.
If they get a stop, right. If they don't, if this is 9, and it is, Andrews. And if you're not hitting threes tonight, this 9 looks huge now. Biggest lead.
Ted,
9 points.
Ted, you're absolutely right with not being able to get Leverage a look. Baczynski gets an easy one at the basket, but with Leverage not shooting threes, Taylor not shooting threes, DeLon Wright not a great three-point shooter, you're absolutely right. A 7-point lead is huge in this game right now with 1:20 to go.
And as we come down here, Utah also knows that Washington is a very good foul shooting team.
Well, you think about they might want to foul to stretch the game out, but you're absolutely right. They need to get stops, and they need to get out in transition and get some easy buckets. This might be an opportunity here.
There you go. DeLon Wright breaks away. Well, that's what Utah needed.
They need the timeout to set up the press. They need a timeout to talk about their defense. They need to get stops right now before they start to foul and extend the game. One way to do it, Baczynski gets the tap from behind. Wright gets on run. Nobody's going to catch him. He's a little road runner, and he extends and dunks.
So DeLon Wright, with that dunk, gives himself a new first-year high, 24 points. And Utah, also note two things here. Utah's down to one timeout. Larry Krystkowiak has to make sure his players understand that. Utah also has 2 fouls to give, which they may need to.
Give quick.
Give quick, exactly,
yes,
to get Washington to the line.
Talk about our 6th man of the game. And Princeton Onwas, he went on the floor for his defense against C.J. Wilcox. He took his minutes and turned it into offense. How did he do it? By attacking the glass, getting in the lane. Time and time again, he had 3 straight buckets in a row to give Utah an opportunity to gain momentum in the game. He becomes our 6th man, Motel 6, 6th man of the game. Is that like hotel, motel, Holiday Inn?
All right, well, let's see how Utah plays this. Do they foul quick?
I think they need to foul quick because they've got to get themselves in position to lengthen the game.
There's one given by DeLon Wright. That's only his 2nd. So now one more foul Utah needs to, at some point, deliver before they can put Washington at the foul line.
And again, they need to foul quickly so they can give themselves the opportunity to put them on the foul line, extend the game, and hopefully that person they're putting on the foul line is.
So Larry Krystkowiak clearly told his team that in the timeout. So that's 2. And now the next Utah foul puts Washington to the 1-1.
Problem again, this is Lorenzo Romar's best free throw shooting team he's had since he's been here at Washington, shooting almost 77% from the free throw line.
It's going to be hard for Utah here to think about playing this possession out. It looks like they are. You see the difference in time. Washington can run this game down under 25 seconds.
Yeah, but they're the 5th best free throw shooting team in the country. So
Williams-Goss 65%.
This is going to be huge if they get the stopper, because if they commit that foul, good job by Lorenzo Romar calling the timeout.
Shot clock down to 8. Now, Andrew Andrews, sophomore from Portland, just 2 points shy of his career high, and he's come up with the big baskets in the last 5 minutes.
Well, he certainly has. He kind of, when they sit on C.J. Wilcox, it opens up the game for Andrew Andrews, and he's taking full advantage of it. You can see there he's making shot after shot. He's going it all off the ball screens or up and over the top of Brandon Taylor. Once again, they've not treated Brandon Taylor very well for it being his birthday. Andrew Andrews, C.J. Wilcox have just taken them over his knee at times, said, "Happy birthday, son."
So Andrews, who's been averaging 14.5 over the last 4, has bettered that tonight. Washington in that position. Utah has elected to run this possession out. I assume they play it out here, Ernie, the last 8 seconds?
Well, they're going to have to now. I mean, it'd be very bad if they can get a foul with 8 seconds to go. Now they play it out, get the stop, and go down and get the quick score. It doesn't have to be a 3. They need to get something going into that lane, and maybe it's a drive and a kick for a wide open 3 or wide open 2, or DeLon Wright get into the hole, hopefully get an opportunity to score a layup or an N1. First things first, get the stop. Worst thing that can happen is commit a foul here.
All right, Utah is going to get the ball.
Got to go score.
That's what DeLon Wright wants to do. Doesn't have a lot of time to waste here. Can they finally get a 3? Yes! In the final seconds, the first 3 of the night.
Well, here's a young man that doesn't shoot a lot of shots, period, that are not layups. I don't care if they're 15-footers or 3-pointers, but big-time players step up on center stage in big-time games. And he's gone to the basket so many times. They need a 3. What does he do? He just lines it up and knocks it down for them. He makes plays. He understands the game. When you need a big bucket, he comes through. That's why he is a very gifted basketball player. He's had a fabulous game here.
27. So Wright has blown by his first-year high for scoring in a game. Now Andrews 1-1. No, but the rebound. And it is out of bounds. Tucker tried to save it. He was out of bounds. Now Utah will have to foul again.
Washington takes a timeout with 9.2 left to play.
Washington will take a timeout here, as Utah will still have one, but that was Utah's chance. Andrews, a 76% foul shooter.
Sometimes you don't get a lot of opportunities to get a second chance, but on the missed free throw here, you can see that looked like to me that Shelton tipped the ball out of bounds. It was going to be Utah's ball on the player. C.J. Wilcox, tipped it out. It was going to be Utah's ball. And unfortunately, they don't get an opportunity to get it back.
It was definitely a Washington player. You saw him bat the ball away, trying to get it back to the perimeter. And in the instinctive reaction by Tucker, he's trying to save it. And now Utah's, we assume you try a steal. If you don't, you foul right away.
Well, you definitely have to get the foul right away. I don't even think you can go for the steal, because you may get back cut and all of a sudden there's some precious time being dribbled off the clock before you can foul. Right now you want to keep the game long. So you try to deny and get the 5-second count and then get the foul if it gets in bounds right away.
So Washington led 59-50. Utah has scored the last 7 points and had a chance. Could they, if they had secured that rebound, would have had a chance to tie or win.
Well, they still have a chance because, again, anything can happen at that free throw line in conference play, and with pressure being a factor in this as we look at our conference standings right now. Colorado squeaks by Washington State in overtime to go to 3-0. Arizona still #1 team in the country. UCLA, how impressive was their offense? And then Cal, Monty, Naismith, because he coaches so well, he's 2 soldiers down and still comes back and wins in a big game, rival game with Stanford. And they throw it away.
All right, Utah's going to let it go out of bounds. Now Utah will get the ball unbelievably.
Yeah, never.
Now the other question, Utah's claiming the ball was not touched, which means the clock should not have run.
It may not, but you never, ever let the ball go out of bounds if you're right there to grab it, because you just don't want to put that decision in the hands of somebody else
was the
when
ball
you
touched?
can get it. But we'll see if it's touched. It's not touched there. It's not touched there. They're absolutely right. The ball is not touched. 9.2 seconds back on the clock.
And
Timeout by Utah.
Unbelievable, Ernie. Utah's going to use their final timeout, and they do get a second chance off a unbelievable turnover by Washington.
Let's talk about Utah versus Oregon. Let's talk about Colorado versus Washington State tonight. And talk about games in this conference coming down to the wire. Utah's been here before. They get an opportunity to win in overtime, in regulation, and they miss, and then come back and throw it away in overtime and lose on a Damian Dotson dunk. Leverage could have had a layup. Could have went to the hole and caught it at the rim for a layup. In this conference, with so many good teams, in the last 2 or 3 possessions of a game, it puts a premium on coaching, point guard play, free throw shooting, and officiating.
Where does Utah go here?
Well, what do you think they go? They go to DeLon Wright,
Okay,
no question about it. They run a little action, put it in his hands. He has an opportunity to win the game on a drive. Now, I would certainly spread the floor and put Leverage in one corner and Taylor in another, so if there's any help, any double-team help, you got an opportunity to get a wide-open 3. But DeLon Wright has the ability to go make plays and get to the basket, splitting defender, so certainly he has the opportunity to make the play and tie the game.
The foul situation is still the single bonus. So if there is a common foul here, it would be a 1-and-1 shot for Utah. Utah does not have a timeout, so they must inbound the ball here and play.
Washington's got to stay connected. Obviously, again, they don't want to give up a wide open 3 to win, but they want to do a good job defensively at keeping people out of the lane, but not over-helping and giving up any open 3s on any driving kicks.
And here we go. Utah, can they do it 2 years in a row in Seattle? It's going to be DeLon Wright. DeLon Wright, no! The tip in by Leverage will be late, and Washington survives.
Well, they got the look they wanted. They got Blackwell switched to DeLon Wright. I thought he was going to put the head down and blow by him. Instead, they run a dribble weave out on the wing, get no penetration whatsoever. Those are precious seconds going off the clock. He glances up, looks at the clock, and leaves himself an off-balance 3. Again, they run horns, double horn ball screen. Blackwell gets with Simmons, picks him up. He gets an opportunity to blow by Simmons. He doesn't go anywhere. Has to take a tough shot, tough fadeaway shot as the clock's going down. This is a tough shot for him. I thought for sure he was going to get in the lane and blow by Desmond Simmons. Hats off to Lorenzo Romar. They get Blackwell out of the game. Simmons switches, picks up DeLon Wright, does a good job of shutting him down.
Now, if DeLon Wright played the entire game, by the way, played 40 minutes, 27 points, 11 rebounds, but the last shot cannot go down for Utah, and Washington holds home court barely.
This is Pac-12 Sports Report.
Let's talk some UCLA women's basketball. We'll take you from the pitch to the pool and everywhere in